Many people know Mikhail Tal was an absolute legend. But what many people do not know is that during the interzonal in 1962, when Tal got sick and had to go to the hospital, Bobby Fischer was the only person to visit him in the hospital. I found that amazing. Two absolute legends, both with the most ice in their veins in chess history. Maybe not, maybe that's a bold statement, but they had ice in their veins. They could close out a game, no problem. Comment down below which super GMs have no ice in their veins. I can think of two people, but no, Tal was an absolute unit. I wish more people played the game like him. That's why I like watching like Rapport and Dubov. They just have like these fun chess styles. You can mimic Tal, but you can never beat Tal. He was in a class of his own. So I was inspired today. We're going to look through a quick game where he dismantled a grandmaster in 19 moves. It's like he made people forget how to play chess. It was so wild. Like he made people see ghosts. But I'm intrigued, so I'm going to go through a bunch of Tal games, filter out my favorite calculations, whether it be sacrifices, whether it be conversions. And I'm going to make a compilation of my favorite wins by Tal, whether it's 10 positions or 100 positions. I'll do some sorting. I love it. So, in this game, we get a ready. His opponent was not ready for the ready. I will stop with that bogus, horrible, not even a joke, but whatever. We get an English, and we get d5. Now, queen a4 is a funny line. The point is, if c6, you take on d5 and the pawn is pinned. So the bishop goes to d7, but now the queen comes to b3. And as in the French, when there's a queen on b6, the bishop can't really move because the b pawn hangs. Similar stuff. But this is also a poison pawn. So for example, when d takes c4, which pawn do you take? Do you take that one? Do you take this one? This reminds me of some queen's pawn opening. I'm thinking of a London, but I think that's because of a move later in the game. You want to take the c pawn. You do not want to take the b pawn. This is typically a poison pawn. Your queen kind of gets trapped, hence the poison pawn. And even if you try to gain activity, I mean, this looks very, very good for white. You're going to take on c7, you're going to win a queen. No, black always has this knight d5 saving grace, and now there's just nothing. You can't really kick the knight out because then they kick the queen out. And now you're kind of lost. You are kind of just losing. Queen a6, the knight can come to b4, either or, and you run into big, big, big problems. That was like a okay stutter. That didn't really ruin what I was trying to say. So we'll let that one slide. Queen takes c4. The game is materially balanced. Not for long. It is a Tal game. g3, he's trying to go bishop g2. Fianchetto, aim at b7. If c6, maybe the bishop's a little worse. So he fianchettos, and black sets up a battery. I've done this. It's suspicious. Sometimes you do it as white. Sometimes you do it as black. But the point is, after castles, you go bishop h c6. What? Well, okay. Why didn't you go bishop h3? I think this was the whole idea. I don't know whether Tal would play for the center, just play for activity. Knowing Tal, he may have. I don't know. But if bishop takes h3, queen takes h3, I believe what deterred black was queen takes c7. But you do get some activity out of losing a pawn. Maybe he didn't want to lose two pawns. But again, you get a lot of activity. So I don't know which one it was, but he went pawn to c6. He just didn't want to lose the pawn, or so it seems. Queen h4, this is good. We get 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Did I count that correct? 4 queen moves in 10 moves. We had 3 queen moves in 6 moves. So that's a lot of queen moves. Don't move the same piece twice in the opening. All these bogus principles, man. The principles, the exception to the rule is what makes the game beautiful. h6, weakening the fianchetto. If you move the d pawn, there's going to be 2 attackers on the h pawn. Wow. Prediction of the year. Pawn g5, and are we going to get another queen move? Of course not. We're going to get a sacrifice. Bishop takes g5, blowing open the king side. So this is one of those sacrifices where you get 2 pawns for a piece, right? That's common. But you don't get checkmate. But what you do get is a position that is very hard to play. Black cannot move his knight because then he will get checkmated. And if you can't move the knight, how do you kick out white's knight? Newsflash, you don't. So what is black going to do? Okay, bishop f5, that's a good move. That allows him to move the knight because he's covering checkmate. But now we're just going to gain space in the center. The king is still wide open. Okay, knight h7, understandable. He really gets bothered by this knight. So he's going to offer up a knight trade. But now g4. I mean, this is amazing. The bishop can't take the pawn. That is checkmate in one move. If the bishop slides back to g6, you get f5. All of a sudden, I mean, he just felt it. The compensation just comes. So this is a grandmaster. Do you guys understand? A grandmaster, and they just like forget how to play chess. It's so insane. So good. You just overpower your opponent's brain. I mean, chess, it's too hard to solve. Even supercomputers can't solve it with like more than 8 pieces. So you just overcomplicate the position to the point where no one understands what's going on, and the person who can better filter it will win. That is fun chess. Okay, do you take the knight? Do you take the bishop? Well, of course you take the bishop. If you take the knight, you have doubled pawns. They just go bishop g6, blockading them, and they have some units over there. Now their king isn't even wide open. I mean, there's 4 pieces in front of it. We just went from like no pieces in front of it to 4 stagnated pieces. That would be bad. Take the bishop. The knight is still under fire, so the knight has to move. And now we get a rook lift, up and over, kind of like the Dutch. Have you guys ever seen a Dutch video by me? They can go to the G file. It can go to the H file. Probably on the H file. Okay, black takes a knight. Do we take back? No, we do not take back because checkmating is better than winning a piece. Check. Pawn E3. And here, if white takes, we would just go... I'm sorry, if black takes, we would just go king H1. And again, there's just nothing. You don't want to take with the rook because then you lose your attack and they could get out of it. So it's all about timing, as always. So king H1, rook to E8, queen takes, and you would have mate. That's actually not happened. That was just a variation I was looking through. After rook to H3, he resigned. Why did he resign? Well, there's nothing to do. His best move is queen takes F5, guarding against checkmate. Find the winning move here. The winning move is bishop to E4. And the queen can't move because same thing. And actually, okay, he gave a check, E3, and then he resigned. Because if queen takes F5, bishop E4, this is unstoppable. You have to give up the queen, and Tal will win up a queen. In fact, it's even grosser than that. You win a knight, and then a queen, and then you gain a tempo on the bishop. And then you just bring your rook over, and you checkmate them. So, a fair judgment by black, resigning after the move E3. I thought this was a cool game. I am excited to find these positions of calculations or conversions done by Tal and make a video out of it. But yeah, did you guys know the Fischer and Tal fact? I mean, that is amazing. 2 legends. Thank you guys for watching as always. Have a great day.